Do not adjust your digital device. What you are about to see and hear may shock and appall you. Join our hosts as they encounter countless thrills, spills, chills, and hilarity as they explore the very weirdest in pop culture. The following media is so strange, so beyond the scope of what is normal, it will make you ask the question, why does this exist? Hello everybody and welcome once again to Why Does This Exist? I am Chris.
And I'm Rob.
And today we are joined by Spaceman Frank. If you don't know who Spaceman Frank is, you should. But let me just fill you in. Spaceman Frank and I used to do a show called Monopera on pro wrestling for the Bonesaw Network that I used to run way back in, where we would just talk about pro wrestling and what was going on. Today is a very special episode. It is about pro wrestling, but it is about a very specific time in pro wrestling. And we also have a watch-along for you of one of the matches that you can access by going to our Patreon and donating to our top tier, which I believe is like $10 or something like that. But you can find us on patreon.com/whydoesthisexist. And by donating, you help us out, and you allow us to pay the bills. You allow us to really keep it going, and really try to make something of ourselves, and laugh in the faces of our teachers who said we'd never be anything. Frank, introduce yourself to the world.
Well, I am indeed Spaceman Frank. I'm glad to be taking this journey with you guys into what some may argue is the greatest period of pro wrestling. Those people are usually very wrong. But I'm looking forward to this. I've heard a lot about, these mini movies and this time period, but I've never actually committed to watching it. So it should be fun.
Mm-hmm. And our topic at hand is the mini movies in WCW around 1993. There were only, to my knowledge, there's only 3 of them. And all of them involve Sting. 2 out of 3 of them are for matches with Sting and Vader. And one of them is with Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake, in the coal miner's glove match, which is the match itself was a debacle. The Sting and Vader matches were actually not that bad, but the reason why these are weird is they had very huge budgets, and they had there was a very strange Mad Max story, like a Hollywood-ish storyline, but it was they were all very badly done, and they were very cheesy, and they made no sense because these matches were not built this way,
and full of cliches.
Oh, of course.
The little vignettes were it was literally taking any cliche they could from an action movie and shoving it into a 5-minute vignette.
It was sci-fi original movie level.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the 80s had pretty cheesy storylines and stuff, but it was a good cheesy, it was that campy 80s Saturday morning cartoon feel to it.
Right.
And then the early 90s came and it went they jumped the shark basically, and it was just completely out there. And it's interesting because I think that literally so it was basically the worst parts of the 80s in the early 90s. And I think that's what happened is that in the mid-'80s, that's when you have, the meat of it, when it's the best time for it. And then it just gets overplayed into the early 90s because it's, before they developed the 90s aesthetic, So, it just gets overplayed into the 90s, and it gets so bad. And then finally, the 90s, they develop its own aesthetic, And then, that is good for a few years, and then into the early 2000s, it starts to get overplayed and cheesy, and I think that's what happens here. Is it's the worst parts of '80s action like cheesiness to it.
Oh yeah, I will also say the other things that were like pretty bad in the 80s and like early 90s was just like this was more of a WWE or WWF thing at the time, was just like the gimmicks were just very stupid to the point where it was like a person's regular job was like they were also wrestling. Like we had Duke the Dumpster Droese is a perfect example. Not a terrible worker, but like he was a garbage man who was also a wrestler. And garbage people, sanitation people, tend to make pretty decent money already. So it's like, I don't know why he needed to do all these things. And sanitation workers have to be up in the morning. So like this guy's maybe getting, realistically, if this guy is still employed by the sanitation department.
Hey, it's cheaper than the gym.
Yeah, this is true. But if this guy is, if we are to believe that this man is still employed by the sanitation department in his local state, then in addition to being a pro wrestler, this poor guy, while he's making a very nice living, he's maybe getting 2 hours of sleep every day. That's gotta weigh in on you. I mean,
can you put a price on a dream?
Well, yes, you can, and that price belongs to Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. He is the man who puts the price on your dream, and then he takes it away from you with the $1 Million Dream, and then he shoves $100 into your mouth.
Oh, they were going to say shoves $100 up your ass.
Well, that's $1 Million Nightmare.
Oh God.
That'd be the $1 Million Man on The Boys, season 3.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Ted DiBiase was a great character, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there were some pretty
great
characters.
There were some great gimmicks, but there were also some very terrible gimmicks too.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, we're still talking about them, so they left an impression.
Yes, they did. True.
But I think one interesting thing is like these very cinematic approach to wrestling. Like we're recording this early in 2021, and there's been a whole lot of cinematic matches, but we haven't really had like cinematic, like, for lack of a better word, like promos or like hype things. Like hype packages are already sort of cinematic, but this is just like making a movie to hype a match, and like it's weird how we like transition from like nowadays where it's like very heavily edited, scored matches that tell a story, which I'd say was probably better than this, but at the same time it's like it'd be interesting to see like the modern like cinematic version of something like this. So like that's what I was thinking when like watching these things, like what if they did this today, like for like the cinematic intro to a cinematic match.
I feel like people would enjoy it because it's so weird, and like because we have the Matt Hardy stuff.
Yeah, the broken Matt Hardy.
All of the broken Matt Hardy and the deletions and things like that. I feel like now we're a little more accustomed to things like this. Yeah. So I feel like if certain people, I feel like it would have to depend on who was involved. Like we also have the Firefly Funhouse, who is like match, which was very weird and also a cinematic match. But people enjoyed it.
I think it's
I think it's doable.
It's more acceptable now.
Dislike it.
It's more acceptable now because kayfabe is not a thing anymore. Like people know it's like it's like a silly storyline that they're making up just for the entertainment of the fans, right? But like in the early '90s when this came out, kayfabe was still like heavily enforced. Like. Oh, yeah. And so it's like, how could you possibly pass this off as real? It's so stupid. Like,
yeah, I never thought about that. It's just like, all right, put your hatred aside to film this on the beach.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't understand who thought this was a good idea and who approved this.
Yeah, because Vader like actually lives in like a hole in the ground somewhere. Like,
yeah, exactly. Just in his cave with his one table as furniture, surrounded by babes and his friend Cheatham.
Yeah.
I imagine Cheatham's like the in-home caretaker, where it's like, all right, I'm leaving, I'm going on tour. Cheatham, I'll hold down the fort.
Yeah.
Answer my fan mail.
For those who don't know, Cheatham is a little person with an eye patch. He's a one-eyed little person who enjoys reveling in things. He's kind of like Yago to Vader's Jafar.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. He just repeats phrases over and over again, and just adds he could disappear. And besides besides when he put the bomb on the boat, he doesn't add to the plot. He's just there for fun.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that. But there were several. But there were 3 of these, and WCW, they're not really known for a lot of the good things that they did. No. Unfortunately, they had plenty of great matches throughout the history, but people mostly remember WCW for the NWO and David Arquette becoming world champion.
Yeah, and Sting's later years, I think. I think people forget.
Crow Sting and is really more what they remember. Where this is earlier Sting, where he was Surfer Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing too is they're known kind of like you said as the wrestling company, and this is just what if we pivot 180 degrees from that? Instead of having a realistic product and stuff, which in ring it was still.
Yeah, the match was really good.
Yeah, let's just go glitzy Hollywood, and it's what I can't imagine people are tuning in to watch WCW for wrestling was thrilled to see this happen.
Oh yeah. But all right, before everybody gets ornery, I've got a little bit of news, but then we're going to show these lovely people the White Castle of Fear promo, which led to a strap match at Super Bowl III. That is our watch along for the episode. So if you want to watch our reactions to the match as well as this vignette, feel free to go over to our Patreon. That's once again patreon.com/whydoesthisexist. Donate a bit, help us out, and then we'll give you additional content. And it is all for you because we love you, the people. Our news is that our podcast is expanding. We are in several different markets now, so you don't just have to find us on Patreon or on YouTube or on Podbean at whydoesthisexistpodcast.podbean.com. You can also find us on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. We got approved for that today. We're also on Google Podcasts and iHeartRadio. We have also been approved for. So you can find us on all those mediums right now. We'll be taking over the world very quickly, and it will be a lot of fun. So we hope that you join us on this journey. And thank you so much, everybody, for checking out the show. Feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment because it helps more people find our stuff. On YouTube, you could just find us there at Why Does This Exist? And we would greatly appreciate it, and it would be really awesome. If you don't know what we do, it's all weird stuff that happened in pop culture, good, bad, or neutral. So if you've got a tip that you want us to cover on a show, you can either donate to the Patreon on a tier or leave a comment on the YouTube channel. But if you also have a couple of recommendations and maybe some questions or some things that you'd like us to cover, you can also email us at whydoesthisexistshow@gmail.com.
Send us a tip like we're America's Most Wanted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that reminds me. I've been listening to Ice Cube like crazy the last couple of days, and as I do it, I've been I was listening to his first album, which is America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
And he's so good.
Yeah.
He's just so good. But the problem is if I get the problem that's been happening lately is it's been changing my demeanor a little bit. When I'm by myself or when I'm listening to music, I kind of get a little into the music a little too much. So I've started just cutting promos, or I've just been just saying like terrible things.
Oh my god.
Like I've been trying to talk like super gangsta, and it's not been good.
Making up diss tracks.
Pretty much, if I've gotten annoyed at something, I've been like just making up diss tracks on things.
Well, Ice Cube certainly won the diss war.
Oh yeah.
With NWA at that point, like no Vaseline, like friggin' just like trampled anything NWA.
Yeah.
I like how in Straight Outta Compton they even show like I think it was like Yella's like even like, hey, it's actually not that bad. He's like, it's actually good.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Ice Cube was like deeply involved with that movie too, so of course they're gonna be like, wow, look how great this is.
Yeah.
Well, his kid, kid plays him.
Yeah. They were actually trying to get Eazy-E Jr. too to be Eazy-E, but that didn't happen.
No, it's because his wife owns like the rights to things, or his wife's really bad, and like if like I'm gonna quote Ice Cube when I say this, but a bitch is a bitch. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for that, but I'm quoting Ice Cube directly.
That's true.
All right. Let me get my foot out of my mouth, and we'll put on this promo.
Anyway, so wrestling.
So bad segue. One bad segue after another. This is
America ka, just like Crow Sting.
The Predator is also a really good one. Anyway, this aired like prior to Super Brawl 3, where Sting and Vader wrestled in a strap match, which we saw as our watch along. And you can, I've already said it, you can go on Patreon and find the watch along, and it would be really great if you did that, and, we could all have fun together. Not in a, well, that sounded bad. I'm just going to put the promo on.
At the White Castle of Fear.
I find it interesting that Sting has enough money to have a helicopter, his own private helicopter. He doesn't have enough money to have a driver. He has to drive himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's budgeting.
Yeah. God, it sounds like all this voiceover was like done by just completely different people.
Yeah. Oh God.
And Vader sounds like friggin' Robotnik or something from the old Sonic cartoons.
He kind of looks a little bit like Robotnik.
Yeah.
I also love the fake snow sticking to his chest.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Sonic movie at all?
No.
No.
I have not either. I appreciate the Sting is wearing Oakleys. Tapping into that skater culture. Oh God.
Could this be some sort of trap?
God, I like how Sting's mouth is half open so you can still see his teeth. He just looks like a doofus.
The dialogue is just so bad.
Well, I guess I'll find out soon enough.
I guess I'll find out soon enough.
I love how it's like royal parchment paper.
Where's the Castle of Fear anyway?
Oh my God!
Remember again, kayfabe. This was when kayfabe was law. So we were expected to believe that this is real, that Vader really lived in the mountains in the White Castle of Fear, which is really just a hole in the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be like a big doomsday
and he
prepper.
sends out
these zoom in, it's what are we looking at? And where are they landing?
Oh, there we go.
Here's some stock footage of some cave in Mexico or something.
There's the glow-in-the-dark mastodon eyes.
That is... this is 80 pounds of fruit and one turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see the turkey.
And Sting comes in like a superhero here.
Oh, God.
But he's wearing a tracksuit.
Yeah. As all these ladies are just hanging out in our cave, they can't be comfortable. Oh, she's got a blanket. She's fine.
I just realized he's got freaking those neck loop things on his glasses too.
Oh God, I just saw that too. It's like old lady stuff.
Yeah, and he stood there for 60 seconds. No one said anything, and they're like, "Oh, he's here."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh."
Oh no.
burglar Harley race.
He's the Nightman. Oh, there's Cheatham.
You again.
Play the game.
Yay.
Play the game.
This is one game you're gonna lose.
Time to play the game.
Sting, this is one game you're gonna lose.
There's something very familiar about all this.
Oh, no.
What is he
He
talking
looks
about?
right at the camera.
Yeah.
He just says that.
Oh, I think the coal miner's glove match maybe happened first.
Vader's here.
I don't know. Here we go.
Vader relates from the mirror along with his good buddy Zod.
Yep.
Vader would one day pass this cape on to the Shockmaster, who would dye it brown. And
I also like that Cheatham has his own little cape.
Vader, nice place you have here. Reminds me of your personality. Cold.
Very funny, Sting.
God, his mustache.
What's up?
You're here to accept the challenge of Vader. Are you ready to play the game?
They can't
So what's
they can't be
the
doing
game?
this thinking that this is great.
I also just like Sting and Harley Race and Vader talk similar. Like,
There goes the fixings.
yep.
Thanksgiving is canceled.
The strap match is. Well, I'm gonna show you.
I'm trying to figure out what the expressions on the ladies behind them are supposed to be.
Play the game. Play the game.
Play the game.
It's the race. The strap.
Like they're all just like they went from hovering over his Sting to be like, oh, we're supposed to be over here. That's right. He's wearing his own merch.
I was just gonna ask that.
Oh, whoa!
The table just burst into flames.
Yeah. Oh my God! This
listen to the music.
this Tekken music.
It's just
Meanwhile-
like the opening to anything that's not anything except wrestling.
Meanwhile, there's a helicopter pilot just like reading a book somewhere. It's like, I wonder if that guy's coming back.
I wonder how he could have landed because like it didn't look like there was a landing pad outside of. I wonder if like he had to just like Sting just like drop down on a rope or something.
Yes, but like what? Like how does he get home? Because they
It's a
have to
one-way
go to
trip.
the match. They have to go to the ring to have the match.
Continued at
That's true.
WCW Super Pro.
Oh God.
Oh Lord. I just like to be continued.
Yeah.
It's like no, please.
It's crazy to me that such a cheesy ass promo produced such a great match because the match was really amazing.
Yeah, they did a really good job with it. Like honestly, it was this was what we were going back to on the watch along, but like it was just well done, and like you can see like if you compare this to like anything now in wrestling, you would get night and day.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, I loved this so much more than anything that I've watched that's been current within the last several years. Maybe even the
And it's
last decade almost. I don't know.
And it's like that match didn't need this. Like it didn't
No.
need all this theatrics.
It didn't even need a video package, honestly.
No, it could have just been that. Well, I think they would have had to do
I mean,
some kind of
a video
promotion for
package
it.
would have like the video packages would have come eventually because like this was around the time when like video packages had started to become a little more commonplace. So I guess
Yeah.
maybe they didn't really quite have an understanding of how to do it for wrestling, even though it was very simple. But they just wouldn't. I don't know. I guess they decided to like one up boxing.
Yeah, maybe.
By doing this,
They definitely
I'm
could
trying
have
to
just
think of
done
what the
like a
thought
bunch of
process
backstage
was.
interviews though, and it would have been fine. Like it would have worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what was the storyline going into this match? Like, like I know Sting apparently got a scroll in the mail,
Yeah,
but like
I don't even know. There's nothing on the Wikipedia page that even like remotely talks about the build-up or anything.
Well, look, Steve Austin was actually still wrestling for WCW at this.
Oh
this
yeah,
time.
well Cactus Jack versus Paul Orndorff in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
that sounds like
Too Cold
that's
Scorpio
a
versus
good
Chris
match.
Benoit.
That was probably really good actually.
This looks actually like a really good
This is
card.
a decent card. Well,
Yeah.
oh God, at least Austin and like Pillman when they were the Hollywood Blondes. Well, I mean they were working with like Buff Bagwell and I don't know who. I think Eric Watts was Bill Watts' son who sucked.
Yeah, that's his son.
Yeah, like apparently like Bill Watts was the booker at one point, or maybe this was the because Jake Roberts, that makes sense, because Jake Roberts left WWE and then he went to WCW and Jim Herd was there, and then after Jim Herd was like this guy who was like a Pizza Hut executive or something, and he like just came in and he had no knowledge of wrestling or no understanding, so like he did a bunch of stupid crap. Yeah. And then they had and like they got rid of him pretty quickly, and then like one of his ideas was the Ding Dongs, which was a tag team of hunchbacks.
Oh no.
And like they looked like bells, and you couldn't, and because they were hunchbacks, their shoulders could never be parallel to the mat, so they could never be pinned.
That's
yes, this was an idea. Wrestling has many bad ideas.
Oh yeah.
I would watch
for every good idea that we remember, there's probably at least 3 terrible ones that we forgot about.
Mm-hmm. However, I would watch like a Ding Dong #1 versus Kurt Angle in a submission match where they're
God.
oh no, our one advantage.
Yeah, Kurt Angle just locks in the ankle lock.
Oh Jesus.
That was the way we put. That's like Kurt. Like we put Kurt over to like build him up, and it's like, oh, no one's ever defeated the Ding Dongs before because no one could pin them, and then Kurt Angle comes in with the ankle lock and friggin' submits them, and they win and wins, and that's like, you know.
Yeah. Well, another one of like Jim Herd's bad ideas was that like, so Ric Flair was Ric Flair. Everybody knew Ric Flair. He was the biggest star in the world probably at the time, next to Hulk Hogan. Yeah. He was the biggest guy in WCW for sure.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like Jim Herd decided that like to make I think that was his idea, because he was taking his Pizza Hut things, because he did good things for Pizza Hut, and he was like he wanted to appeal to like a younger audience. I think that's why like weird stuff like this happened.
Well,
and,
I mean,
like,
is it really any worse than WWE hiring literal soap opera writers to write their storylines? You know,
no,
like,
but this was then and that's now. Now
right.
Now it's just gotten way worse.
Yeah,
I would say. But Jim Herd's idea, it like was to repackage Ric Flair and like give him a haircut and like repackage him as Spartacus.
Oh no!
And he would be Greek, and Ric Flair was like, "You're an idiot. I'm Ric Flair. Everyone
exactly.
knows that I'm Ric Flair."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, they won't know the difference." So Ric Flair, who was champion at the time, quit, went to WWE with WCW's belt. And they like had him win the WWE title in the Royal Rumble that year, because like the Royal Rumble was the title was just on the line, and I think they were trying to like build it for like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan the following year, or that WrestleMania or whatever, and then like Ric Flair quit like 2 months later or 3 months later or whatever, and
he lasted a little bit longer than that. It was
maybe like 6 months.
Yeah, like he won the belt. I think he lasted till like 94-ish, I think, because the following WrestleMania he faced Randy Savage, but it was like,
right.
Like it was like one of those things where like the legend goes, they did like international like house show runs with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, and they're like, we didn't make as much money, so we're not going to actually do this.
Well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have been at the Garden.
Lost opportunity. Yeah. It should have been like a Mania at the Garden for them. But, oh well, they didn't do it. But, like, so Jim Herd was around for a little while, and a lot of stupid things happened, and then Bill Watts came, and, like, Bill Watts was, like, a hardened, like, old-school promoter and former wrestler. Like, he liked stiff matches, so, he appreciated certain, like, things from his time. And Jake Roberts moved on, and he went to WCW, and then Jim Herd ended up getting replaced by Bill Watts during his time, and Bill Watts didn't particularly like Jake Roberts, so Jake Roberts kind of got like screwed, and then Jake Roberts continued becoming a cautionary tale, and he went back and he went back to WWE, but his demons had caught up to him, and etc. They have another documentary all about it that DDP did called The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, and it's really good. It's a really great documentary.
Jake Roberts was actually on Joe Rogan, I think, last year.
Yeah, no,
and
2 years ago.
Or it might have been 2 years ago now.
It was really,
it was a really good podcast. He was, the stories that he told, like when in the '80s, driving friggin' Andre the Giant, and like they pull over and buy like a 30-pack of beer just for Andre. Like he sat there and he drank a 30-pack of beer on like an hour-long drive to like the arena or wherever they were going.
Yeah, and he he would do that. He would drink he would need 2 cases of wine.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't drinking because he was an alcoholic. He drank because he was in severe pain because he had I think it's called macroallergemy. I don't know how to pronounce it. He had like a thyroid problem where his body continuously grew.
Never stopped growing.
It was a form of giganticism. Like the same. Big Show had it too, but Big Show had surgery.
Yeah, Big Show had his pituitary gland or something removed. The same thing happened with the guy who was like the world's tallest man that was like 8 feet tall or something. Like he just never stopped growing.
Acromegaly, that's what it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then immediately images of Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
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 But there wasn't anything that they could really do about it at the time.
No, they really didn't understand it back then, I don't think.
Well, when Andre passed, he went to France for his father's funeral. And he buried his father on Friday, and he was they found him on Monday.
Yeah.
But he was a very special human being.
Yeah, he had a very hard life, and I heard this one story where they were out drinking with Andre, and they were in some redneck bar, and these guys were making fun of him and throwing beer cans at him and stuff like that, and he literally went outside. They went to get up and talk to them, and they all ran away. So they went outside, and Andre literally flipped over their car. He just picked it up and flipped it over.
Yeah.
So they called the cops, and the cops came, and they're like, "Oh, this guy flipped over our car." And then basically they realized it was Andre the Giant, and they're like, they were like, "Yeah, no," they were all making fun of him and throwing beer cans and taunting him, and that's why he did it. And the cops were like, "Yeah, you guys are assholes. You're going to jail," and they let Andre the Giant go.
No, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Well, the other Andre was also super proud of being in The Princess Bride and
he made everyone watch it over and over again.
Yeah, for 60 days. Every day that it was in the movies, he made everybody who was around just go to the movies with him so he could watch his own movie.
Yeah, I remember Robin Wright, who was in the movie and was in House of Cards and Wonder Woman and stuff. They're talking about we had to film a scene in the rain between takes to keep me dry. Andre would just put his entire hand on my head like a helmet.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, they all have very everybody that knew him that he also liked has said that he's been a sweetheart of a guy, but if he didn't like you, you knew he didn't like you.
Yeah, because he would destroy you.
Pretty much. Oh God. My cousin.
So anyway, the White Castle of
tell
Fear.
that story. But, yes, the White Castle of Fear. That was a match.
Sponsored by White Castle.
If they did it now, it definitely would have been sponsored by White Castle. And you would have never stopped hearing Michael Cole scream White Castle.
Are you ready for the White Castle main event?
Are you ready for the White Castle of Fear, sponsored by White Castle? And Vader, who is coming from his White Castle of Fear, where it's harvested by White Castles.
And then
White Castle hamburgers.
Corey Graves would say something snarky and stupid like, "It looks like Vader's been going to the White Castle a whole bunch lately."
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys, I've never actually had White Castle.
Oh,
I don't like it.
It's bad, but
I think
it's just one. You can't eat one. You have to eat 8.
Yeah, well, because the first one doesn't, like, they're so small that it won't fill you up until it's too late. It's kind of like, it's exactly like the SpongeBob episode where where he finds out that Squidward doesn't like the Krabby Patties, and Squidward eats every Krabby Patty, and he's like, no, don't do that. It'll go to your thighs, and then you'll blow up.
That's like, well,
that's exactly what it's
I'm
like.
convinced that they put crack in White Castle burgers because they don't taste good.
I mean,
but
it's
like,
possible.
You get cravings
like
for them, and you have to eat like 15 of them. Like, you just can't stop.
I don't get cravings for them.
Oh, I get cravings every like once in a while, like once a year. I'm like, I could really go for some White Castles. Right
I remember when I was in Raging Steel. We would go to White Castle every once in a while because Eric Hugo, the bass player, like, was like obsessed with White Castle, and he would, and I mean the bus route was like right along the way, so like when I when I would go home, like we just go to White Castle and then I just take the bus from there. But he would get the big crave case for himself, and he would just like eat it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's 30 hamburgers.
Yeah, he would just do it. Sometimes he would get 2 crave cases.
That would be like my go-to
save
if I had to
one for
bring
later.
something to a house party. I would just get a crave case. It's the easiest thing to do. You just buy a crave case and bring it.
We did that for New Year's at one of my buddies' places like a few years ago, and I remember I left my house early while my mom was like making, good hearty food, like just like like lobster tails and shit.
Yeah.
And
you rolled with tiny burgers.
Yeah, and we ended up bailing on it to go to my friends, and we
eat White Castle rat burgers.
And like now we've been having the New Year's parties at our place. I mean, we obviously didn't do it this year because the pandemic and everything, but like, oh god, I remember we went home and we just looked at each other and said, I'm never fucking having White Castle again. not for New Year's.
So what you're saying is I need to get some.
I mean, I'm not, but you can.
I know supermarkets, or at least one supermarket near me, sells like the burgers frozen.
Yeah, you can get them frozen now.
Yeah, they do.
But I'm like,
sell those.
I watched a video of how like someone recreating it, so like I could do it if I wanted to, but it's like you said, it's like it's not that good, and you have to eat like fucking 30 of them. So it's like I'll make a normal burger.
Yeah, it kind of.
Yeah, you're better off.
It reminds me a little bit like I was watching Eddie Murphy Raw the other night, and I was and it like kind of like what we're doing now. It kind of reminds me of like the McDonald's bit that he has, where like when you're a little kid and all you want is McDonald's, and then your mom is like, "No, I can make you a better hamburger," and like your mom's like making it, and it like looks nothing like a McDonald's burger. And like as a child, you're like, "But I want McDonald's," and your mom has the better, like you already have the better meal, and you're just like, "Oh, that don't look like no McDonald's."
Yeah.
And then you go outside, and like all the other kids are like, they all have McDonald's, of course, and you're there with like this giant hockey puck burger, and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "What's that?" And they're like, "My mom made it," and they're like, "Well, we got McDonald's, and then like you start crying because
See, the problem is that like you could have a craving, you could have like, oh, I want to have a burger, and if I want a burger, I'll go get one from like the diner or like just make one at home or something. Like I when I want to go to McDonald's, I want McDonald's, not just a regular burger, because it's not like a burger. It's like you want McDonald's specifically.
Yeah, like I want the thing that's going to kill me.
Right.
I'm driving, I need some food, and I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
It's time for McDonald's.
I wish I have a Five Guys near me, because Five Guys is definitely the superior burger.
No.
Five Guys.
What?
I like Five Guys, but I don't like what it does to me.
Oh.
It's like one of those things
Okay,
where
that's fair.
It's not as bad as KFC, which KFC I can't really touch anymore because it's just too greasy. But it's like a similar thing with Five Guys. It's too greasy, and it gets like stuck. Like it's just one of those things where like
gives you agita. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me the shits, and then like sometimes you can taste the grease.
Yeah.
Like long after there's no food, and it's just like that slimy feeling.
Yeah, it makes you feel gross.
Yeah,
that's fair.
The thing I like about Five Guys is one, like you can't order large of anything. Like it's just impossible to actually eat it. So like I'm like, oh, I'm being healthy today. I'm only getting like a medium fry, which is like 8 pounds of fries.
Yeah.
And
then, a large fry, they just give you a fucking brown paper bag full of fries.
Exactly. And then it's like, oh yeah, like, and then you can get like whatever the fuck you want on the burger. Yeah. It's all falling out anyway. And it's just like I gotta eat this before like the grease soaks into the bun so much that it just dissolves.
Yeah, I used to like getting them with mushrooms because they'd put a shit ton of mushrooms on there, and that would just kind of help cushion the grease.
I just want to meet the motherfuckers who go to like Five Guys and are like, I'll have the chicken sandwich.
Oh, go to hell.
Yeah. That shouldn't even be a thing.
No, that's like going to a prostitute for a hug. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
Not that you should go to prostitutes. We're not advising that people go to prostitutes. I mean, if you're sad and lonely and you got no place to go and you live in a part of the world where it's legal, go nuts, do whatever you want to do. But if it's still illegal in your neck of the woods, we're not advising that you go out and break the law. You should not do that.
Just buy one of those weird body pillows with like the arm.
Oh no. I'm not sure what's worse now.
I saw an ad for like a body pillow in the shape of an alpaca and you like hug the neck.
What?
Yeah, I don't. It's just like, yeah, like your wife will love it when you're not around.
Oh,
she
God.
What does that mean? That's
perverse.
Yes.
I'm like, thanks, Facebook. Now I know this exists.
Oh no. Well, I guess we got to do an episode on that at some point.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh God.
The body pillow episode.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are a strange and interesting product.
That's true.
That is some sort of a phenomenon. So yes, that does classify. All right. So there were 2 other vignettes.
Yeah, anyway.
There were 2 other vignettes.
Back to Sting versus Vader.
Yes, back to Sting versus Vader. There was one more.
Sting versus the body pillow.
Yes. Oh God. That might happen. I mean, that happens now with like Kota Ibushi and the blow-up doll.
Oh no.
Oh my God. That match is still amazing. Kota Ibushi manages to wrestle a 5-star classic against an inanimate object.
Yes. He also which he gets a series of what the hell is the name of the damn move?
The Canadian Destroyer.
Yes,
he just does it like 6 times in a row to himself.
Yes, the blow-up doll delivers Canadian Destroyers to Kota Ibushi, and it's convincing.
Yeah. New Japan bosses saw that and they're like, we're going to give him the title.
Pretty much. Oh God! All right. So there was 2 other ones. The other one of them is, I think the original one is the one with Jake Roberts, where it's the spin the wheel, make the deal thing for the coal miner's glove match.
Which they brought back for Halloween in NXT.
The coal miner's glove or the spin the wheel?
Spin the wheel, like.
Okay. I mean, it's less bad somehow.
I mean, I feel like at some point, some snarky like independent wrestling thing was like, we're gonna have a coal miner's glove match. Like someone had to do that at some point.
I'm sure they did.
Joey Janela is like, oh, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, he's one of those people who they just need
trampoline.
They need to just remove Joey. They just need to remove Joey Janela from all of wrestling in general. He's just not cut out for this.
I heard so much about him, and I like watch his matches. I'm like, besides him killing himself, he's not that good. And
no, I think it's funny that that's the one thing that like AEW fans will like agree with. Like the diehard AEW fans that like love every single thing about the show and don't want anything to be changed. That's the one thing that they're like, no, he's not good. That's like the unanimous decision. It's like, say what you will about Joey Janela, but like you can't. But like everything else about this show is perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the other one. I'm not sure if this match happened later down the road or if this was this happened before. This was the Vader one was February.
This was February of 1993.
Yeah, we're like,
and this is
June.
Yeah,
so
this is June.
later.
Okay, so this happened later.
Buka Buka 619.
619. So this is in this particular match. It was Vader found a pal. Vader found a friend, and he teamed up with Sid Justice at the time, or Sid Vicious. I don't know what his name was in WCW because it's flipped around.
It was Sid Vicious, I think, in WCW.
I think it was around this time, but he changed it to Sid Justice at one point, and then WWE.
That was when he did a face
Psycho
turn.
Sid.
When he was a heel, he was Sid Vicious. When he was a face, he was Sid Justice.
I think you're right.
And at home, he was Sydney.
Just Sid. Apparently, he was like he's like a huge baseball fan.
No, softball. That's why I hear
that's what it is.
Could you imagine like playing softball and this monstrosity shows up?
I mean,
it's just like, oh no.
You just want to pray that he just doesn't.
We're gonna walk him.
Yeah. You want to just pray that he's like the catcher or something, or he's the ump. Or he's on your team.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if that happened, I would finally know what it was like to be on to be like one of the Springfield power plants, like guys when like Mr. Burns ends up buying like the major league players to go play the softball game.
Yeah.
Save them sideburns.
Mm-hmm. But this is the promo for the Bash at the Beach match with Sid and Vader versus Sting and British Bulldog. Also, don't know why they needed to do a mini movie, but they did it anyway.
Well, this was just the time that they were doing that.
As was the style of the time.
Yeah,
I guess. But they only did it with these matches. Like, it wasn't like they did this for everything. It was kind of weird.
Well, they were building these matches as like, I mean, the first match, the Vader versus Sting match, the first one that we saw was like the main event. So they were really building this.
I guess.
God.
They got Colonel Parker or whatever his name is.
First of all, somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico, they're wearing. Sid Vicious is wearing tights. He's gonna get sunburned.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that they missed our rally to be out here with a bunch
I love
of
Harley Race.
Yep.
And Vader's just like
Oh my
laughing
God.
uncontrollably. He's sweating so much.
Oh
Or is it
Jesus!
oil?
The big poop face.
But according to the map, that island's got to be out here
God, I
somewhere.
can't believe that this guy
Colonel, I think I
walked
see the island just ahead of us.
Harlem Heat to the
That's it
ring,
right
and
there.
they had like chains on them.
I was gonna say, like, if they're sweating this much, he must be dying in that suit. And
yeah.
boy,
And there's Sting and Bulldog just playing
Playing with
volleyball
kids.
with people, hanging out
Playing
with the
with kids.
locals.
who is the random man in like the
Colonel, if they don't
the 90s like cell shoot?
I don't know. Look at the boat driver. He's like really into it.
Are we just going in circles?
Boat driver looks like friggin' Ricardo.
Oh my God!
Trust Cheatham to get the job done.
Why
Sid,
is
are
he
you
lying
just
to-
pooping the entire time?
Care of it.
You
No, man. They'll see the reason. I assure you. And ask for Cheatham. I trust
Oh my God.
I told Willie B to be prepared in the event that Sting and David boys don't
The
see
boat's
light.
not moving. Why is he turning the thing?
They'll be in for a beach blast.
He's got a wrench in his
like
hand.
they've never seen
What is up with the wrench?
so to speak.
Friggin' monkey
The
wrench.
guy hasn't looked like I'm gonna use this wrench.
Oh my god. I can't look at Sid Vicious. It's...
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. He has a snorkel. Sorry. There's Cheatham. Wait, so does this mean that they took they took this boat all the way down from like the White Castle of Fear to get to the Gulf of Mexico?
Yeah, they were just driving it across land.
Is that a bomb cooler?
Yeah.
What the
No one noticed me.
That was...
What's your name?
My name is Jaws. Now you girls get on out of here.
What?
You failed this mission,
There's the
Hitman.
Thunder Marine.
That's probably like
I guess that's Sting's boat.
Sting's boat, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen.
He's gonna plant the bomb under the boat.
How much does
Listen,
Vader's
I-
travel
I bought it-
How much are Vader's travel expenses from like the Gulf of Mexico to the White Castle of Fear?
And is he just gonna swim his way back?
I mean,
Who
I
are
guess he
Land his
can't
way all the way
swim.
there.
Yeah, there are more
Who-
people now.
Who are these random adults playing volleyball besides the wrestlers?
It's probably like just Sting and Davey Boy just showed up and like all these people, like these fans gathered around like, hey, let's play volleyball. Hey Sting, what's going
God.
on?
Look, it's Sid and Vader.
Do you have sunscreen? I'm dying.
Vader's, Sid's wearing flip flops.
Yes, Sid's wearing flip flops and Vader's wearing like Nike high tops.
Let's go see what they want. Yeah.
But
Is
both
Sting
of them are
wearing,
wearing
like,
their
underwear?
full ring gear. They're wearing their full ring gear and like flip flops and like Nike tops.
Is Sting wearing like underwear underneath his trunks?
That's
looks
what it
He's
looks
wearing
like.
something underneath.
Skulls and the bones that lie beside our path are symbols of our victories.
Bro, it's just a volleyball game.
British Bulldog looks like he's really high.
He probably was really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I just want everyone to start kissing each other.
Oh god.
That's like what's gonna happen. They like, how far are they walking down the beach to get there?
Yeah.
Sting! Davey boy! I can't believe you wouldn't accept our proposal!
Oh god.
Yeah, this has big angry X energy.
Accept these 2 tickets here to the retirement haven of your choice, or suffer the consequences.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't know.
This has full motion video written all over it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
What
were
did you
definitely like right here. It looks like it's like a green screen. Like they
size
weren't
of these
even
guys. We
there.
got 2 tickets on
Yeah.
hands. We can fly out of here and
I
forget
don't
the
want
whole.
no offer from them.
Well, Davey, look at one more time.
But why is Sting trying to like reason with him that like a retirement home would be a great idea? They're both clearly in like the prime of their life.
Tickets and just retire.
All the kids are sad.
Why did they get
Hey!
so dramatic?
So are we still playing volleyball? Because we're winning, so
That kid's got a terrible haircut. His parents let
It
him
was the
out.
90s. Everybody had terrible haircuts. The 90s were a weird time for haircuts.
It
Yeah.
was.
You're not going to
I mean, look at Sid's hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
The poodle mullet.
Bleach blonde.
You threw your hat and now you're wearing your hat again.
This guy is a cursed image.
Maybe he like pulls his hat off and there's just another hat under there. Like when Sting takes off the Sting mask and it's just Sting under the Sting
Desperate
mask.
people, and desperate people do desperate things. But I'll tell you one thing: they're gonna be tough. Okay, guys, let's go back and play.
Does Sting have like a pimple on his neck?
I don't know.
They
Karen
just,
and Christy, what'd you want to tell
okay.
me?
They just walk away and just leave Sid and Vader just.
A funny guy hanging around the boat? Say what?
Guess.
Hey, Sting! Sting, where's he going?
He's gonna see the guy hanging around the boat going click, click, click.
No, they wouldn't. Sting!
Do we really need? Look at this! Oh my god! Don't run!
Oh no!
Oh my god! He can't run!
He looks like he looks like he shit his pants and he can't do anything. What was that?
Oh my god!
Davey Boy just flew through the air. He just defied physics. And they're crying because Sting exploded.
Everyone's got PTSD now.
They're not all crying, they're all just like really brave right now. That's why they have red eyes.
Yeah! Yeah! Now kiss! Now kiss! Can we put our arms down now? To be continued.
WCW Beach Blast.
Oh. Look at how the rip curl turns into a muscle.
Only on pay-per-view.
Yeah, so that was a thing.
Oh my god.
That was certainly a thing.
Oh god.
Well, it's funny how we all know now that this is just building up to the debut of the Shockmaster at the fall. Before the Fall Brawl.
Oh god. Was that year? Was that 93?
Yes, it was the same year.
No,
yeah,
that can't be. All these bad things could not have happened in the same year.
Yeah, that's the Shockmaster. It was teaming with Davey Boy and Sting.
Oh shit! You're right.
Oh my god. It's just like one of those things where it's like, hey, you tried to murder me, you son of a bitch.
Okay, Sting and Davey Boy Smith or British Bulldog ended up winning that match. Oh, Vader and Sid Vicious were called the Masters of the Powerbomb. That's actually kind of cool as a name. Oh, yeah, you're right. Fall Brawl was the next match.
Yep.
So, yeah, and this had a War Games match, and that's probably why they did not do another one where Cactus Jack makes his anticipated return.
Wow.
Actually, he had great matches with Vader. Just in WCW, and like that was like the first hardcore-ish matches that were being brought over to America, where Mick Foley just jumping off the ring apron onto like just the concrete was considered like a crazy stunt.
Yeah.
Where like now it's like everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's just wild how it went from one thing to another within.
Well, I mean, Mick Foley constantly pushed the envelope too,
Oh yeah, I mean that's why he's so highly regarded because nobody gave more of his body than that guy, and it's still a wonderful blessing that he's still on this earth.
Yeah,
and he's really funny. I can't wait till this whole pandemic's over and like he can go back to doing his stand-up shows and things because they're a lot of fun. I went to one of them and they were it was a lot of fun. And Dee Snider's son opened for some reason and he sucked. Like his whole gimmick is his whole bit is my dad's famous. I haven't done anything with my life. That's his entire routine. And then there was another woman who also opened, and she was a former writer for WWE, and she was really funny. She was really, really funny, actually. I forget her name, but she was a good opener, and Mick Foley just went on and he killed. He was great. But I remember Dee Snider was sitting in the audience, and he was standing there waiting for people to come up to him so that he could blow them off. He wasn't trying to blow them.
Oh my god.
He was trying to blow them off. He was trying to just not deal with them or just push them away or just say he was just waiting for them to stroke his ego. And people were not coming up to him because they wanted to go meet Mick Foley if they could. And he had this freaking scowl on his face why is nobody looking at me?
Because literally everyone is there for Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I saw Mick Foley here, and Ed showed up because I guess he was nearby, and it was just oh my god, it's Edge, and everyone forgot about Mick Foley.
Oh, well that's not nice.
But like it was just like it's a surprise, and I remember like one of the big things was like, oh yeah, you can ask Edge something, and some stupid asshole was like, so how is Lita? And it's like, bro.
Oh, that's I hate it when people do shit like that. Like there was one of the bands that I used to play in. We were playing at the show in Staten Island, and Lita's punk band at the time, they were called the Lucha Gores or something like that. We were opening for her band, and like I was just, she was there, so I went to go talk to her. I wanted to meet this lady who used to be on my wall, I'm trying to say it in the most non-creepy way, but like I had posters of her on my wall, and I was like, this is so cool. I used to have posters of you in lingerie. I'm like, now this is kind of awkward, but like this is also awesome. She was like, you should have just brought the posters. I would have signed them. And I was like, all right, she is really cool.
Yeah.
And then some idiot like goes up to her and he's like, so what was it like to like? So, like, what was it like to go through the rest of your life knowing that you screwed over Matt Hardy? Is this why you screwed? Like, why did you do this? Was Edge better, huh? Or whatever. I was like, oh, God damn it. And she was
everybody
like,
involved with that is over it. Like, and fans are still bringing it up. Like,
it's just
they've all moved on.
They all
like Edge is married to somebody else. Matt Hardy is married to somebody else. I'm pretty sure Lita is married to somebody else. Like, it's fucking get over it. It was like fucking ancient. It's like fucking people who like dwell on like high school relationships. It's like
it's because nothing else happened in their lives that were exciting from that point. So like they have to like constantly. It's like the Al Bundy complex where it's like you're constantly bringing up Polk High and how like high school was the peak of your life, and now you're a shoe salesman.
Yeah.
So it's like Cobra Kai in real life.
I gotta watch that show.
It's so good. I watched like all 3 seasons in like 4 days.
Oh crap!
Literally, there's like a news broadcast where it's like a karate riot broke out. I'm like, what?
A karate riot?
Yeah, it's like everyone's just like, guys, this is stupid. Why are we fighting about karate? 30 minutes later, I'm gonna karate you so hard.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Literally. It's just like, guys, I know this is not the way to deal with our problems, but you really need to karate them really hard.
Need to karate them.
Oh god. All right, and we're still doing this. We're still
there's still more madness.
Yes, there is still more madness, and it's not even macho madness.
We haven't crawled down Vader's big white hole far enough.
No, I think we have. I think the one that started it is actually no. I'm sorry. This is not the one that started it. This is the Jake Roberts one, which is spin the wheel, make the deal, which I think it's even more outrageous than the White Castle of Fear.
To be fair, if I wanted like a wrestler to like. If I was like, all right, we need something like cinematic and like more cerebral or anything like that, Jake Roberts wouldn't have been a bad choice.
No, I mean, Jake Roberts could have been a really good actor.
Yeah, like
if he didn't have all of his personal demons, I think he probably could have transitioned into acting really well because he was very good. He's very talented.
Yeah, at least he would have like ideas for this.
Yeah. But I think this is a little bit more logical in some ways. Like, I think his bad guy hideout is like a normal bad guy hideout.
Well, considering the first image we see is Jim Ross and I think Jesse Ventura with like a pimp cane and like a leopard something.
And a do-rag.
Yeah.
I mean, he was basically a pimp.
And his beard is like really badly hair dyed. Like, you could tell that it's like dyed.
It looks drawn on.
Oh,
yeah.
What's with the fuzzy pink boom? It kind of looks like a. What the hell is the Hostess snack that I'm thinking of?
Oh, one of those.
The snowball. It looks like a snowball.
Snowball, yeah, it does.
Oh god! All right, let me do this.
Mm.
And the off the top rope rule that's been voted on the 900 number, 88% want the rule rescinded. A bigger landslide than when you were elected mayor of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
Almost bigger. I have 90%.
Fans this Saturday on WCW Saturday night. Michael Hayes will lead Arn Anderson and beautiful Bobby to take over
back in the day, I think, like old school wrestling, if you threw an opponent over the top rope, it was a DQ.
A lot more to come, but right now, let's take a very special
I mean, I think they still do that in British
coming
wrestling.
your way, October 25th.
Oh no!
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
What?
Oh, it's a 30 Rock thing. There's the Werewolf Bar Mitzvah song.
Oh, I never finished that show, but I think I saw like the first 3 seasons. It was so long ago.
What? Boys becoming men. Men becoming wolves.
This looks like David Bowie in Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh boy. Oh my god. Oh whoa!
Hannibal. Oh, okay.
At least this isn't like a seedy underground club.
Yeah.
Like it's in a semi-logical bad guy hideout. Oh, God, there's Cheatham.
Yep.
There's a giant buzzsaw blade with stuff on it. Cheatham is way too excited.
Yeah, everyone is hyped. And this poor guy can't cheer along with his friends because he's strapped to a thing.
The biker Santa Claus pretty much. It looks like you get Paul Giamatti.
What about this?
The guy with the machete looks like Paul Giamatti.
He's like just giving her weapons.
Yeah. Jake's like, don't talk to me. Don't give me lines.
He's probably just checking the girl out.
Here's the stinger.
Did you see Cheatham?
Cheatham's like, oh shit, not again.
Sting, I knew you'd come. It was just a matter of time.
I knew.
Yeah, I'm here. So what's the
deal?
Wait, so like Sting just goes, he just walks around in like the middle of the, like in just broad daylight or like broad nightlight, just with like his face painted.
Yeah, of course.
You talk too much.
This music's way too like up tempo for this.
Sting, relax. What's your hurry? I'm gonna take my time and enjoy this moment.
Cut the crap. Do I have to come over there and kick your...
Sting?
Oh.
You don't get it, do you, man? You don't
Can't
have
say
a
ass.
clue. Look around you. This is my playground. These are my people. I'm smiling, not you. It's come down to this.
See, like his acting is pretty
You see,
good.
the deal is on the wheel. At Halloween Havoc, your worst nightmare will come true. 12 of the toughest and most brutal matches in wrestling.
It doesn't sound over the top like Harley Race and Vader did. It just sounded like freaking ridiculous when they were doing their promos.
There's a barbed wire
He's
match.
speaking like a
There's
human.
death
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
Or there might even be a mystery match. But you see, the deal is, man, you gotta step up and spin that wheel. Once you spin it, where it stops, that's what you and I are gonna do. And what happens? Well, we both go in the ring. One man comes out. The other? Well, no.
You think I'm afraid of some
Okay.
wheel? You think I'm afraid of you?
Step out of the fog, Sting. Clear your head. You're not thinking. I'm the master of all these matches. This is no game for me. This is fun, but it's not a game. We play it on my turf and my terms. So good luck, Sting. You're gonna need it.
I'm not even sure like how you win the coal miner's glove match. I think you just have to get the glove and beat the
So what are
shit
you
out
waiting
of the
for?
other guy.
Let's do it now.
You have to get the glove and then give the other guy a prostate.
They're like a proctologist sitting at ringside.
Barbed wire, chains.
What the fuck?
Oh,
To be
Okay.
continued.
to be continued.
To be continued.
At Halloween Havoc 92.
Oh, so
October
that
25th.
was the first one.
The Halloween
Live,
Havoc
only
logo
on
almost looks
pay-per-view.
like the Ultimate Warrior Space Paint.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, is that it, or are there more?
Halloween Havoc on October 25th.
Oh,
Freddie
this is
Miller, we
the
get
like
stand
end
by.
credits.
So the Halloween Havoc was in '92, so this actually
Yeah,
takes
so this is the
place
first
before
one.
the yeah.
Oh, so this is where he meets Cheatham. I see.
Where Cheatham finds his employment.
I mean, I guess that's like. I mean, I guess that's kind of like the bad guy pub where like higher up bad guys go every once in a while to like recruit their hench people. So that would make sense. But I mean, the acting, the acting's not terrible. Oh God, did you see the poster for this thing? What will the real reveal?
Sting looks like he's like mid jog.
He looks like he's like really gung ho about everything.
This was like the original like idea for Snakes on a Plane, it was Sting.
Oh God. Well, who went? Okay, so Sting ends up winning, but like, how does the coal miner's glove?
In 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, it says Sting pinned Jake Roberts after hitting him with the coal miner's glove, which
It's the shortest match on the card.
Which caused the snake Roberts was holding to turn on him and bite him in the face. What?
All right.
I don't know if that was like scripted or not. Okay, there's a pillow fight match in this apparently, and there was an object on a pole. Oh boy, love those.
I think
no, this is just a list of matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had it. Are they the list of matches that were on there?
No, it's just a list of wrestling matches.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought this was like the stipulations and things. All right, where's the coal miner's glove?
I think it's part of
object on a pole, maybe.
Yeah, the object on a pole.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't care enough to know.
Judy Bagwell on a pole? What?
It's the spiritual forebear of the ladder match.
Yeah, that was one of the worst ideas ever. There was some match between like Buff Bagwell and somebody. This was one of the many things that Vince Russo did to kill WCW.
See,
and it's like one of the matches he put Buff Bagwell's, I think she was his actual mom, like Judy on a pole, and she was like more on a forklift than a pole. I don't know. I guess the match was you had to rescue his mom, or like not rescue his mom. I don't know. I guess you either murder his mom or you rescue her. I'm not really sure. But I have never watched that. I never have any plans in my entire life to watch this, and I don't think I will. And I hope we don't do an episode on this.
Donate to Patreon, I was going to say.
If you or anybody else that you know wants us to watch this monstrosity, then please send us emails or comment on our videos, or comment on the YouTube videos, and donate to our Patreon. You can email us at whydoesthisexistshow at gmail.com. I'm not talking straight now because I'm already having flash forwards of these terrible things. I'm having hot flashes. I need a medic.
On friggin' Vince Russo's career.
Oh God!
Just an entire podcast just about the objects on a pole match.
See, you know what? Vince Russo. It was probably he was probably hired by Vince in like the '90s before he even went to WWE or F, and just to like get into WCW and like sabotage it from the inside out.
That's like a long-standing rumor that like it doesn't seem like there's truth to it, and it might be one of those things that if it is true, then everybody involved will probably take it to the grave with them.
Yeah.
But Vince Russo, it is a long-standing rumor that like Vince Russo jumped ship to WCW specifically to kill WCW, and he was like taking the money from both sides, but he was getting paid by Vince as like a double agent, basically.
Corporate espionage, yeah.
Which, it's plausible, but the other thing is you have to, like, even though he's, like, credited for, like, all the Attitude Era stuff, he also had people who would tell him no if he had a bad idea. And there were also a lot of really stupid ideas that were greenlit in the Attitude Era.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Val Venus as a gimmick was a very stupid idea.
The Katie Vick storyline.
Well, no, that was post Vince Russo. That was actually.
Oh, okay. Was that in the Ruthless Aggression? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, also involving Val Venus, the Kai-en-Tai Choppy Choppy Your Pee-Pee storyline, where we saw castration as part of a wrestling angle. Actually, Goldust was a good thing, but there were like some weird things that. Well, it's Goldust. You know what? Never mind. Goldust is Goldust, and we love Goldust. I'm trying to think of like some other terrible things in the Attitude Era. No, I think Vince being the higher power may have been a Vince thing. The Brawl for All was
that was probably
terrible.
A Vince thing.
That was probably the worst.
That was before the Attitude Era, though, wasn't it? Wasn't that like 96 or 95?
The Brawl for All was 99. Brawl for All was the peak.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Brawl for All was the peak of it, and like the idea was like basically Vince Russo did this whole thing because he wanted Bradshaw to like get his clock cleaned by somebody because Bradshaw was, you know,
an asshole.
Yes.
Bradshaw was Bradshaw.
Yes. But like real people got hurt.
Well, yeah, it was a real boxing match
and
that
like the guy
no one was trained for.
Yeah, and the
except
guy that
for one guy.
And the guy that they were trying to push was like Dr. That Steve Williams, and like, but that ended up backfiring completely, and like it ruined the guy's career because he got hurt for real because they didn't know that there was a real former Golden Gloves competitor or winner among them as Bart Gunn, and then like instead of just going with Bart Gunn and giving him the push, they like just fed him to Butterbean and like they like totally destroyed everything. So nobody ended up getting ahead, and God knows how much money it like cost, and there was nobody who like tuned in every week to watch this stupid thing. There's a great episode on Dark Side of the Ring about it, and you feel really bad for Bart Gunn after all of it because he there's a part of him that wants to like fight Butterbean again and redeem himself, and like he can't, like he can't do it. Like they set up a rematch with him in Japan or something, but they don't tell him but they give him like a day or 2 or 3 days notice or something like that, and he's like, I can't do this on 3 days notice. You need to like. I told you to do this like months ago so that I could have time to train for this, and now you're telling me 3 days in advance? I can't go ahead with this. I'm gonna get killed again. Yeah. So like that.
They're treating it as a wrestling match, as a work instead of like a shoot fight.
Yeah. Well, this is like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And like you just feel really bad for Bart Gunn after all of this.
I mean, there's so many countless stories of people getting their careers ruined because of stupid gimmicks.
But the thing that I was getting to was like, there were people there who would tell Vince Russo no in WWE, where in WCW they were just like, oh no, this guy's brilliant, let him just leave him alone and like let's do everything that he says. So like there was nobody who was a voice of reason that like could put a governor on him.
Well, I think it was that because Vince. McMahon in the 90s, like he had Jim Cornette as the kind of the voice of reason against Vince Russo's fucking insanity. So
and then Jim Cornette eventually just had too much of it, and he just said, "I'm gone too."
Yeah.
And
I like the story of how like Jim Cornette on the Montreal Screwjob knew it was coming and like got out of the building before like anything even happened. He's just like, fuck this, I'm going home.
Oh yeah.
And just left before like the match even went on. Basically.
Yeah, I'm reading the Bret Hart book now, and like I'm getting closer to it. I think I just started to get to 97. So like, yeah, it's like the chapter that I'm on is like right before he's like he just started working with Stone Cold on the overseas tours.
Yeah.
But they have yet to work together at WrestleMania because at this point Bret Hart wanted like the reason that he put over Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12 was because he saw like a huge thing where like the two of them could draw like so much money over time, where then like he could pass the torch to Shawn Michaels properly,
right?
Where like he could beat him during some like he'd lose the belt on at WrestleMania 12. And then he'd come back at SummerSlam that year, and he'd and then he'd take the belt back from Shawn Michaels, and then Shawn Michaels could win the belt again at WrestleMania 13, and he would like shake his hand and give him a proper torch passing moment. But Shawn Michaels like got like gripey about it apparently.
Well, also
like,
I've heard that Bret really didn't want to put Shawn over in Canada also. And that was the problem.
Well, that was later for the like when the screw job happened.
Yeah,
but like
I'm not 100% convinced that the screw job was a shoot though. I think that it was a work in a lot of ways, and of course this is one of those things that if it was a work, they'll all take it to their graves.
Yeah, it could be, it could not be, but I mean, if you watch the Bret Hart Wrestling with Shadows documentary, it's like I can't remember if it shows him actually like landing the punch on Vince McMahon, but like it shows it like basically as it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, he runs out of the room, there's like the pull apart, he runs out of the room and he decks him, and then I think the next shot you just see Vince McMahon just like, you know, out of it on the floor, and then that's kind of it. And they like, but that documentary is actually really good too.
Again, still could have been a work though.
You're right.
You know?
It very well would have been.
Because you think about it, like, what did Bret really didn't have anything to lose? He was leaving the company anyway to go to WCW. So why not like do this thing where he like gets quote unquote screwed over, and it basically establishes Vince as like the evil boss, you know?
Yeah.
And Bret doesn't really lose anything because he's leaving the company anyway. And Shawn Michaels gets put over at the same time.
Yeah.
But also kind of makes Shawn Michaels an asshole and kind of like, you know, solidifies his like heel tendencies.
Yeah.
You know?
And then like, you know, the idea behind it could be that down the road he could like there's a chance for him to come back and like do the whole redemption angle and everything.
Right. And I think that's where it got fucked up, I think, is that
well, because Goldberg ends up, you know, botching a match with Bret Hart, and like, he kicks him and he ends his career with like a huge concussion.
Yep.
So like that's why that never happened. So who knows?
I mean, I think the Montreal Screwjob is fake because I mean I don't believe Quebec exists.
Then we're gonna have like a bunch of angry Quebecers fucking downvoting and Quebecians.
Well, you know, if they exist, they can pop out of my imagination and try to beat me up. But you know, French Canada, bro, what are you even on?
All right, and that about does it. Thank all of you for. I can't talk straight. It's almost 1 in the morning.
You're busy. Like, wait, is Quebec real? Have I been there?
Oh God, I feel like I've spun the wheel and I've made a deal, and I don't know if I like it very much. Thank you guys so much, all of you listeners, for tuning in, for giving us some support, and just helping us out. And I hope that you enjoyed the show, and I hope that you enjoyed this. If you're a big wrestling fan, then I hope you had a lot of fun. And I hope you go check out these matches.
They are entertaining. They're fun to watch. I was like,
definitely good matches.
I was like, is this
minus the coal miner's glove. That match is just not good by circumstance because anything on a pole or like the certain matches just will not be good because the gimmick is bad.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun watching the video. Like,
really good.
I was like, is this going to be, like, long or boring? I'm like, no, that's fun. This is, like, it's entertaining to watch. It doesn't make me want to necessarily, like, watch these matches or anything like that, but I'll watch them, you know? They provide some lulls.
Oh yeah,
it's like watching The Room or something that's like, you know, is like really bad on purpose. Like it's like one of those things just so bad it's good. Like
it's very shareable. It's one of those things where like I'm not gonna like watch this by myself, but it's like, oh man, you gotta check this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, thank you guys for watching and checking this out. You could just feel free to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can just find it. We're at Why Does This Exist? And if you have any weird happenings in pop culture, past, present, or things that will be happening at some point in time very soon, that there's information out there, or things that just never aired, but there is info on this. You know, whether it be a game, some type of a product, a movie or a TV show or anything of that nature that was just weird that happened at some point in time over pop culture, let us know in the comments, and you can also let us know at Gmail by emailing us at whydoesthisexistshow@gmail.com. Feel free to donate. If you want to help us out, you can donate to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/whydoesthisexist. And you can also find us on at Podbean at whydoesthisexistpodcast.podbean.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We got the big ones out there. We're also on iHeartRadio, and I think that is about all of them right now. But we will be on more, and eventually we'll be able to say wherever wherever you get your podcast stuff. But thank you guys again. We appreciate it. Frank, thank you so much for coming by and, you know, just being spacey and being the courageous spaceman you are, coming all the way back from the planet Zod.
I mean, you know, I had to go back this way anyway. Zod doesn't have a Wegman, so.
Mm-hmm. Just make sure that Darth Vader doesn't come down from the planet Vulcan and eat our brains. We would really appreciate if you can stop that.
Famous Vulcan Darth Vader.
All right, we will see all of you at the White Castle of Fear. And
good night, everybody.
Question everything.